Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Sarah and I am so glad to have you come along with my latest project. What this video is going to be about and what I'm bringing you along in is getting my workspace taken care of. My workspace is a mess. It's not organized. All my things that I've collected over the last year or two, I just have in a wheelbarrow. It's all so random. And I just have stuff sitting everywhere and I have to like go here and there to get stuff. It's not organized and I need to do something to take care of this, and I want to do it before I really dive into my furniture pieces. Now, I have this, it's an old TV cabinet back when we had tube TVs, that is going to be great for storage, but it needs a little TLC. The wood's cracked. That needs taken care of. I have a dresser drawer set that I pulled out of my neighbor's trash that I'm pretty sure is homemade. It's like solid wood, but not good craftsmanship. So it's not a good flip to have in someone's house, but it'll be perfect for the garage and storing my things. And then I have a it's like a cabinet shelf that sits on top of a dresser thing that I've flipped the dresser and that's gone, and so I want to use this and hang it up on the wall to really give myself a space for storage, to put everything away and to have a place for everything, so as I'm working on stuff I can find it and not get all messy, dusty, and just junky. So we're gonna do this together before I can get to all those furniture flips. Although this video essentially is furniture flips because I'm gonna paint these. I want to make them match. At least that's the goal. Never know how projects turn out. You might run out of time and just have to go with it. But I also have my tools here that I need to organize a little better so they're not falling all over my space. So I want to build with some scrap wood in the back of my garage. Just build like a little corral. I don't know what it's called, but a thingy for my tools to hold on to stay put. All right, I'm gonna get to it. So after I awkwardly pulled out some scrap pieces of wood that looked like they would make kind of a rectangle shape without too much cutting and wasting wood, I took some time and laid out what I thought would be best use of my wood pieces with the least amount of wood loss, and chopped off a few ends to straighten stuff out, and then made a rectangle with a center brace to help for the base for tools not to slide around. And I just drilled pilot holes and screwed in the base as straight as I could. I wasn't too worried about it. And then I added the four legs. After I got the four legs screwed on, I built the top rectangle first, and then I clamped it onto the legs and then screwed them all in place. And without too much work and a couple hours of sweat, I have myself a handy dandy tool rack. Alright, so moving on to the furniture pieces to get ready to paint them, I'm going to start with this dresser, and it was covered in mildew and the wood was damp. So I sat it outside in the sun for 3, maybe 4 days until I was satisfied with it being dried out completely. And I went over the whole dresser with this simple green. Wiped down the insides of the drawers, the inside of the dresser, the outside, everything. And then after that sat and dried, I came back with just a damp towel and wiped it all clean to just get everything off that I could before painting and priming. And once that was clean, I'm ready to move on to the TV cabinet. To get this door ready to paint, I needed to glue this crack back together. So I put glue on the top side, flipped it over, put glue on the bottom side to make sure it got deep down in there, clamped it together. What I didn't realize happened when I clamped it is that it caused the other end of the broken board to pop out. And I only have one long clamp, so I had to run to the store, buy another clamp, and so I could keep the original end that I glued clamped down while I glued and clamped the second end, so it wouldn't play the game that I just played of glue one in, pop the other, glue one in, pop the other. So this way they could be clamped at the same time, glued at the same time. It worked. We'll see if over time this holds. Hopefully it does. The final thing I needed to do to get everything ready to paint was patch holes. So I just took my wood filler and filled in some dings and nicks in the TV cabinet, and then the really rough dresser drawer set had a lot of just cracks and nicks and stuff. So I just filled all those in. And while all that dried, I tackled the wall where all this is going to be stored and cleaned it up real nice. It's funny, you could see the line of dirt from where I had cleaned and had not cleaned. So it definitely needed a good wipe down. Some of the drawers were wobbly, so I just tightened them up with a few extra nails as well, just little finishing nails kind of. And then I also, before painting, used like a 220 grit sandpaper and lightly sanded everything that I had filled with the wood putty and wiped it off with a damp towel. All the furniture got one coat of primer, and my daughter was a big help with that. And then after one coat of paint, you can see it definitely is splotchy and needs a second coat. But while that was drying, I went inside and took all the hardware and boiled it in a half water, half vinegar mixture. I love doing this because it just cuts through all the grime and gunk and top coats and whatnot that's on the hardware. And then I scrub it and rinse every single piece. It's a little bit of labor, but it's an easy way to keep the old hardware. I've seen people do this on other YouTube videos, so I assume it's not bad for your hardware. If it is, leave a comment, let me know. So once that was dry, I just took some gold paint. I was going to do black to match the black hardware in the other cupboards in my garage, but once I saw this gray paint coming together, I was like, I want gold, and I had gold paint. So I chose gold, and I tried to do light coats. So I think I did 2 or 3 coats on these. I wasn't too picky. This is my garage, so if I miss a spot, I didn't really care. So as those dried, I was ready to go back for my 3rd coat of paint, and it just looks so much nicer with that 3rd coat, and it is ready to go. I did have bubbly issues with my roller, which mostly it settled down, but some places it didn't. I think it's because I have older paint that separated really bad over winter because I left it out in the freezing garage, and that's just not the best for your paint. So it's fine. It worked for a garage. So once all that is dry, it is time to assemble all the hardware, put all the doors back on, and hope that they line up, which they did-ish. It was good enough for a garage. Now we're ready to hang this cabinet. Now it was a little tricky to get this up on the wall. I first had to find the studs. This cabinet was the exact width of 3 studs total. So I didn't think I could get it in all 3 studs, but I could get the center one into a stud. It made me nervous with hanging it on the wall, so we decided to hang it sitting on the TV cabinet. That way the majority of the weight was on the TV cabinet and not up on the wall, which just made it a lot easier job for hanging. So we just screwed it in the center, a couple spots, and I think we hit a stud because my husband said it was a little harder than the empty drywall. So that got our shelf up on the wall, and we are almost done with this project. Before I can organize all my things and put everything into these newly painted cupboards, one last thing I want to do on this dresser that I like to do on every dresser that I work on is put some Howard feed and wax on the areas that the drawers are going to be sliding in and out, so that it just helps them glide a little easier when I use them. Especially with this dresser, it's pretty rough fit, nothing goes smoothly, so I added a little bit of that along the edges here. And then I was ready to put the drawers in, put the shelf back in, the hutch, and we're ready to organize and put everything away and get everything set up. Oh, this is a really, really good feeling. I'll show you here the before of what we started with and a little bit of after, and hopefully this inspires you to get your own stuff organized, get your garage organized, whatever, organize your projects, and get your space ready so you can let your creativity flow. So enjoy the last bit of this and seeing everything come together, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.